What if your habit of comparing yourself to others is stealing your joy, your confidence, and the ability to find your real destiny, the fullness of your unique path? What if? What if you could just shift your mentality and stop looking at others and comparing yourself to others and finding that perhaps this comparison is keeping you stuck in self-doubt or dissatisfaction, that it will keep you disconnected from others. There's a whole lot of things that can happen when you compare yourself to others that we don't even know or might not even start to know what the consequences are. So today I want to challenge all of us, including myself, to look within, to look at this I am greatness that is in you and start creating the life that you want. Are you ready? Are you ready? Because you know what? I want to challenge you to take as many notes as possible because we are in your coaching session today. So make sure you come with your paper, your notebooks. Oh, and I said that whenever you donate $50 or more, I will send you I Am the Solution notebook. So just be ready because we're going to learn and grow together.
And when you need a friend, you can count on me. I'll be right here waiting for you.
Hi, my name is Lillian McDermott, and I am a certified life coach, a certified holistic cancer coach, and the host of the Lillian McDermott radio show Classroom. If this is your first time in the classroom, please know I've been waiting for you. This is a safe place where you can go when you need a friend. It is my commitment to provide natural ways to heal, and it is my mission to make awareness, responsibility, and truth a part of our everyday life. And I hope you, my listening, as well as my viewing friend, will feel empowered to embrace a new truth and live the life of your dreams. Now, as you know, I work a lot with my clients on mindset. It doesn't matter what's going on in your life, it's how you perceive it that matters. Now, let's not be Pollyannish or you know, try to cover our eyes and not see reality. There are times where, we do these things and we ourselves are trying to compare ourselves to others to make ourselves feel better. So it can go both ways. When you compare yourself to others, what's going to happen? Well, today, if you're ready, I am excited that it is my sole purpose in life to give and receive love and knowledge. And I am so thrilled that you're here at this coaching session so that we can do just that. We can learn and grow. The whole purpose of this class is to make you aware of how many times we compare ourselves to others. It could be subtle, just like a quick, you know, man, why does she get all the breaks? Or, why don't I get what that other person has? It could be as, I wish I had her job, or I wish I had her life, or wow, they get to go and travel the world and I am stuck in the same place over and over again. But what is it that you want? Do you want their life or do you want to create your own life? Is that what you're longing for? What is keeping us from that? What is keeping us from that life that we want? Is it fear? Is it, that we're comparing ourselves, our interior, with somebody else's exterior? You don't know how many times I've seen pictures of family that are smiling, just beautiful, beautiful smile. But if you only knew what happened 5 minutes before that picture, then you would go, yikes, those smiles were all fake. Maybe they're all real. It doesn't matter. It's none of your business. It's none of my business. What my business is to make sure that my smiles are real and that make sure that I'm living my life. But the moment, and studies show that if you want to depress yourself or create anxiety in your life or feel less than or devalued, You just hit the magazines, hit the mainstream media, hit the social media, and start looking at the lifestyles of the rich and famous, the lifestyles of your friends that may or may not. We don't know what's going on in their personal life. It's okay to post a happy picture, and it's okay not to share if you're going through difficult times. But we, as an observer, do not know any of that. What we do know is what's happening in our own life. So instead of comparing ourselves to others, maybe, perhaps, we could really look at our life and say, these are the things I like, these are the things I don't like. What can I change? What must I accept and embrace? And sometimes when you accept and embrace what is, it's amazing how your creativity to create something different and new can flow. Don't ask me how to explain that, but it does happen that way. It is amazing that when we get rid of crap in our closet, crap in our car, crap in, the kitchen drawers or the stuff drawers in your bedroom, when we start getting rid of, it is amazing how much we can receive. But unless you know what you want, you can complain all you want for things that you don't even know if you want. So, as I always say, when somebody comes into a session where they say, I want you to fix my husband, I want you to fix my kids, I want you to fix my wife, I want you to fix my whatever, my response is always, I can only help those who show up. So how about if we work together at maybe seeing the person in a different way, learning ways to not overreact, learning ways to just have responses to patterns and habits so you can say it out of love instead of out of frustration. Because what happens is we think that everybody's problem or that everybody else is our problem. But what if you are the solution? Because the God in you, the I am in you, made that true, made you as a masterpiece, made you as the highlight of his life. That's who you are. So let's start acting like it, not in an arrogant way, but in a way that is pleasing to God, helpful to others, and especially yourself, to help you find that unique path of yours that you so long for in the lives of others. It just doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. When you compare yourself to others, their life is not your life. Their spouse is not your spouse. So you're creating this, I don't know, fake identity that you may not even want. So do you naturally compare yourselves to others? Do you feel, oh, they're more beautiful than me, they're more talented than me, I could never have what they have? What are some of the things that you say? Write it down. Start looking at yourself and remove the plank in your eye so that you can clearly see the world, clearly see yourself, and do whatever it takes to live the life that you want. As my mom would always say, and I said to my kids, if you don't know what you want, any road will take you there. So true. I didn't quite understand that until I understood it. Until I realized I do have desires. I do have goals. I do have dreams. But how do I create it without using somebody else's life to motivate me? or to make me feel less than. Like I said, you can look at it both ways. You can look at somebody else's life and say, oh, they're such a gossip, they're so fake, they're so this, they're so that, to make yourself feel better. Or you can look at their life and say, wow, their life is so much better than mine. I could never achieve that. I am depressed or anxious or sad. You can use it either way. But the only thing that leads to truth is when you look within. And that's when you find the God in you, waiting for you, saying, I'm here. All you have to do is ask me, and I will help you create this. I don't know if that is word for word, but that's the gist of what I feel. The times where I come to God and say, I just can't do this by myself. I need your help. I need your guidance. And that's the start of creating your life. Once you come in that submission, once you come in that place of curiosity, and again, first is a thought, then there's a feeling, and then there's the action. So when you know that you can achieve something and you ask for it, and you have that thought, I think I can do this, the excitement will follow. That excitement that I can do this. I'm excited about doing this. And then the action. What steps do I need to take in order to achieve what I want? We discussed this last week when we talked about creating our vision. And again, if some of these things seem foreign to you, I'm available as a coach. And feel free to go to whenyouneedafriend.com or text me at 407-373-5959 or email me at lily@whenyouneedafriend.com letting me know that this is what you desire. You would like to be coached. And also, you can just go to whenyouneedafriend.com and click on responsible coaching or, responsibility. Because you can dream about somebody else's life being yours, but that's not real. Because the molecules that created that person is not the same molecule that would be, I don't know, manifested when you do the same things. It'll be different. Your feeling is going to be different. Your action might be different. The way you get there is going to be different. You might take the highway. I might take the scenic route. Either way, it is your end result that you're looking for. That's it. So when you're comparing yourselves to others, are you trying to figure out how they did it or how you can possibly create something different and new for yourself? So naturally comparing yourselves to others needs to be an awareness that will allow you to stop because you don't know what lurks underneath the picture. You don't know what diagnoses they're facing. You don't know what they're dealing with in their life. You don't. All you know is what you know, which is your life. So let's make a commitment here to stop comparing ourselves to others because this will create, just like comparing yourself impacts how you feel about yourself. By stopping it, it will impact how you feel about yourself, which one hopefully will lead to an improved you, to the person that you want to be when you grow up. So, like I said, social media will amplify the feelings of not enoughness. So, if that is you, maybe it's time to take a break from social media. Maybe it's time to start writing down what you want and figure out how others have created what you want and figure out how you can make it out in your own voice, in your own style, in your own mannerisms. Because that is authentic living. That is authentic 100%. So what do you want? And I will ask you that over and over until, and I distinctly remember one of my favorite people that I've ever coached. when I kept asking, what do you want? 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 And they eventually said for you to shut up. So once they got to that place, I knew it was time for them to write. And once they stopped listening to me saying, what do you want over and over and over and over again, and they finally were saying, I want you to stop. And I said, okay, then write it down now. Because at first it was, they were saying it. I want this, I want that, I want this, I want that. But then eventually they were like, enough, because I kept speeding it up, speeding it up, speeding it up. And once they got to that point that they didn't want to say it anymore, they allowed themselves the opportunity to write it down. And it was amazing how everything flowed after that, how everything just was unbelievable. And there, from that place, you can start creating what you want. Well, for her, I was her coach. For you, you may have to listen to a recording, or you may just have to ask yourself over and over again, I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this. And I know it sounds materialistic, but some of the things that we want is not about material. It's about spiritual and emotional and all these other things. So don't start with a curiosity that whatever's going to come out of that is going to be absolutely a blessing to you. Discovering what you want as opposed to what you don't want. You know what I'm about to say. Yes, you do. The brain doesn't register, don't. It just focuses on what you are focused on. It will give you, it will allow you to find. So if you say, I don't want to gain weight, then weight will find you because you're going to be focusing on weight. I don't want to gain weight. I'm sorry, I don't want to gain weight. So gain weight is what's going to follow you. Going to be because you're focusing on gaining weight. Don't won't register. That word just doesn't like it goes away. So whatever you say after don't or after do, it's what it's going to focus on. So know that going into this, that you want to focus on what you want, not what you don't want. Because a lot of people know what they don't want, or do they? Because when you focus on what you don't want, you get more of what you don't want. As simple as that. And I had the hardest time figuring that one out. I'm focusing on what I don't want. Well, yes, but when you focus on what you don't want, you're focusing on what you don't want, and that's what you get, what you don't want. So focus on what you want, and guess what? You will get what you want. Still, I didn't understand because I thought I was giving myself the proper education of what I don't want. So if you don't want to get sick, then I focus on health. Focus on health. If you don't like your job, and you don't like your boss, and you don't like your career, then focus on the career of your dreams. I really, truly would love to be here. What do I need? What I need to get more education, or do I need to intern in something? Whatever it is, focus on what you want, create what you want, take the steps of what you want. Now, there's a difference. Like I said to you earlier, that don't use social media to figure out what they have and think that you want it, but you don't want it. But then I also said, then once you figure out what you want, you go and you research maybe how others have been successful so that you can create your own style, your own voice of whatever it is that you want. The difference between comparing your life and using somebody else's advancement to kind of like fine-tune yourself is the difference between comparing yourself and inspiring yourself. Got it? Difference between comparing and inspiration. I've had so many people come to me and say, I want to start my podcast. I could never do what you do. You don't have to do what I do. What is it that you want to do? Everybody can start a podcast. Doesn't mean people are going to watch it, but everybody can. You can get on there, record yourself, post it. Anybody can do that. But what is different about you? How are you going to make a difference? What are you going to create when you do that podcast? I spoke to someone that I just randomly met in a marketing call. Just the most beautiful woman. And she had the most spectacular rhinestone studded glasses. And the way she described it, I said, have you ever thought of doing a podcast? Oh, I could never do that. I could never do the podcast. What do you love to do? The glasses that she had on were stunning. First of all, I could never pull that off. I will say that. She was rocking it to the hilt. And she told me that she paid like 20 bucks for those glasses. And we're talking about prescription glasses. Wow, what a talent, what a gift. I didn't know that you could do that. Certainly didn't know, though. I did not know you could do that. She told me about the website. I wrote it down. And I thought, you can just talk about that. And I think people would be interested. People would join you for that. But I don't think I can do it. I don't think I have what it takes to do it. Now that is an honest review of why you're not doing it. But if you knew that anything you did, you would be successful at, and money was not an object, and time was not an object, and nobody telling you that you couldn't do it, and not enoughness was not an object, that everything you tried would be successful in some form or another. Maybe the success came in learning how to do it better. Not doing it that way anymore. I'm doing it better. As I look at who I was 15 years ago of who I am today, you know, it's unbelievable. It's like a butterfly, an inchworm all the way to a butterfly. Not that I have arrived at a butterfly yet, but that's my goal. That's my goal. And so when you find out that it's not the life of the other person that's keeping you, it's yourself that's keeping you trapped. Now we can do something with it. Now we can do it. Now we can work on it. Recognizing that that comparison is keeping you rooted in fear and insecurity is just not what is part of your destiny. It's not that ability that you have that God gave it to you. When God created you, God said, it is very, very good. Same as when God created me. And God created your children and grandchildren, great-grandchildren, our grandparents, our parents. You go down that line and we were uniquely created. And we were given everything we needed to be successful. Can you imagine having a set of tools that you didn't even know you had? But at that moment that you needed it, boom, they all came out. And you were able to tap into that. Why? Because you believed that deep down inside that you could do it. And you went past the barrier of fear, past the barrier of insecurity, past the barriers of you can't do it. Who do you think you are? You went past those barriers and discovered yourself eye to eye with your creator. That is the beauty of focusing on that perception of you, because you are comparing your internal insecurities, flaws, all those things to the beauty of the external. So you go from internal to external, where there's filters and you're capturing 1 millisecond and you're comparing it to your entire life. Is that fair to you? No, it is not. But it's worth investigating. It certainly is worth investigating. It's worth looking at and saying, what do I want? Write it down. What am I willing to do to achieve it? Write that down. And sometimes one item, as I mentioned last week in the class, and by the way, check it out and how to create your vision, or writing your vision or creating your vision. I can't remember the name of the class. But just Write it down in 3 easy bite steps. How to eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Not that I would ever eat an elephant. So don't put it in a platter for me. I don't care how good it tastes. Gratitude is a tool that breaks the comparison cycle. Just being grateful for your life, flaws and all, is better than wanting to have their life because you don't know their flaws and you don't know their all. So what you know is what you know. So why wouldn't we start from there? And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter your past failures. Everybody who has invented anything has failed a bunch of times before they found the formula that just fit them. Perfect. It fits them just so right that they couldn't believe it. Maybe they were discouraged at the time. Maybe they said, this is the last time I'm going to do it. This is the last time I'm going to try it. Because there's going to be naysayers everywhere. Naysayers everywhere. Oh, that's not going to sell in the market. That's not going to do well. Hey, listen, it's happened to me. I've created a couple of inventions that I think are brilliant, but I use it in my home. Because all of us have that insecurity. It's like, who's going to buy it? How am I going to invest in that? I love to create, but I don't have the desire to bring it into the market. Maybe someday I will, but right now, that's not my desire. And I love it when other people create things and bring it to the market and become billionaires or have the courage to go on Shark Tank or whatever it is that they're doing. That is tapping into the poof, all the tools that arrive when you need it, at the moment that you need it. But it takes that movement forward of doing and tweaking and making it work, even if you're at that moment that you're really ready to just pack it in. I've done this for 15 years, done the classroom for 15 years. I don't know if I have another year in me. Poof, here comes a donor. Poof, here comes a new client. Poof, all these things that happen. But if I stay discouraged and don't even say, I am so grateful that I learned all these other ways and not how not to do it, that now I can focus on what I want. I want another year in the classroom. I want another 10 years in the classroom. But if that's not what God wants, then I am happy to step down. But I know that many of you, gosh, I wish you guys were more vocal of the people that are reading my blogs, of the people that are watching today's class or a past class. Let me know how it affects you, how it has changed you. Has it changed you? Have you grown with me? I want to hear from you. Because you know what? That small exchange could make a difference in somebody's encouragement to continue. And do you want to be an encourager or do you want to be a squasher? What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? So I want you to go to whenyouneedafriend.com. And while you're there, please subscribe to the website. Please subscribe to the website. It's a two-step process. You're going to get an email once you write your name in to subscribe, and then it will send you an email. If you don't receive the email, check your spam because it's probably in there. And then you opt in. Once you opt in, you not only have the blog on Sunday at 4:44. Hopefully, it'll arrive 4:44. But if it doesn't, then you know that it might be that it's in your spam or whatever. But just make sure that you'll know who is going to be in the classroom. You could quickly check it, glance at it. Sometimes I write something profound. Sometimes I write something silly. And sometimes I say, hey, I need an emotional break here. I'm not going to write anything at all other than tell you who's going to be in the classroom next week. Surprise! Then you can decide, because once the new classes air, then you get that as a email for you to listen to at your own time. You don't even have to go to the podcast. You don't even have to go to Apple. You don't even have to go to Google or any other place, Pandora, iHeartRadio, Amazon. Can you believe it? What started as a 1 hour show on a Saturday in a radio station is now heard worldwide in all different formats. I'm both honored and shocked at the same time. Surprised, I would say. Surprised is a better word than shocked. But I'm grateful. I want to hear from you. I want to encourage you to donate to the classroom so that you can make this free formatting, so it'll continue on. So please give and give generously. I want to encourage you to go to my Shop Now page. My Shop Now page has some free gifts in there. It also has discounts. Some of these help contribute to the classroom. It's a small fee, a small amount, but it still helps the classroom grow. So check it out. And if there's a product in there that you like, just use the code, use the information, and it's the same price or even cheaper than getting it from the manufacturer or whoever's making it. So make sure that you put in the code if a code is required. If not, just know that you will get a great discount and it will benefit the classroom. You can also use our services in the classroom, some of the past workshops. They're there as evergreen for you to, even if you're not in the original one. Like we're going to be doing the May 11th podcast of webinar. I'm sorry. Okay. So on May 11th, we are going to be doing the Human Garage Experience. So all of you who pay to be in the class, if the time it's 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern time, and it's May 11th, which is a Monday. Not a lot of things going on Monday because we're still recuperating from the weekend. So hopefully you'll be available. And what we do is we're going to learn how to take the stress out of our body by working on our fascia. What is fascia? It's like saran wrap that wraps your muscle to the bone and it keeps it in place. And the idea now is that the reason why our stomach gets big or our arms get flabby is because the fascia gets stretched out and it's not worked out. And let me tell you, I've been doing some fascia, like abdominal fascia work and abdominal arm work with the suit, with my EMS Vision Body suit. And I've noticed a huge difference than the traditional way that we work out. Like doing a crunch doesn't do it. I can do 3 sets of 75 crunches like that. And my stomach doesn't look as good as doing 10 fascia maneuvers on my abdomen or my arms. Just 10. Wow. Who knew? So join us in the class, and that helps pay for the graphics, the time, all that stuff. And you get to learn something different and new. So click the link below if you want to join us at the Human Garage webinar. And the Human Garage webinar will be led by the beautiful Dr. Michelle Lamasa Dawson. We are so excited about doing this together. And I am excited to see all of you who show up in the class. It's going to be learning about why the fascia is important to stretch and to work on, and the benefits, which is releasing trauma, releasing tension, releasing stress, whatever it is that needs to be released. These maneuvers will help you with that. So if you haven't heard that we're doing this yet, check out the link below. Just click on it, read up on the Human Garage Maneuvers with Dr. Michelle Lamasa Dawson on May 11th. Okay, so one last thing. I want to encourage you as we enter into our 15th year to make a donation to the classroom. So whether it's $1 or $1,000 a month or a one-time donation of whatever it is. Maybe it's you not having a cafe from a restaurant that you pay $10 for. You know, maybe you can make a commitment to $5 a month, $10 a month, whatever, or a one-time donation. All of that helps with paying for the high cost of doing the classroom. It's just gotten worse. It's just gotten, well, I want to make it better by encouraging you to share, to give generously. Sharing this class today, this pod class, will help immensely. It will help with the algorithms. It will help just putting emojis and sharing. And I, by the way, I love your comments on um the posts that we do that we're doing just recently. Love how you're interacting. Share with me, what can I do to help you interact more? I've asked for emojis, I've asked for comments, and is it that you're afraid of doing it? Then send it privately. And then I'll address it publicly, not with your name or anything like that. But all of that helps increase or squash the algorithms from blocking and allows the algorithms to just respond by sharing the stuff that we're doing. So make sure that you like and follow us, you share it with your friends, you do all that. And when you give of your time, your talent, your treasure, whatever it is, we are immensely, immensely grateful. So now we go back to comparing ourselves to others. Whether it's your career, your finance, your education, I want to encourage you to be bold, be brave, be authentic. If you're trying to imitate somebody else, it is not going to be a blessing to you. And yes, we like certain styles of people. And if it resonates with you, make it your own. Don't pretend you're being them, be you. Deacon Al Castellana was one of my mentors. And I remember starting a Bible study at a church, gosh, a long time ago. We had 150 people show up for the first time ever that the church had ever had a Bible study where the people came. The thirst was real. The thirst was real. And the people were coming out. 150 people. I was expecting 10. God blessed us with so many people. But guess what happened after that? Some of the naysayers started acting like they wanted it to be a certain way. Well, I was leading the Bible study and I was leading it as it was written, as I was guided to do it and committed to by the author of the Bible study, which is Scott Hahn, by the way. So I started doing that and they didn't like it. And so they started discrediting me, defaming my character. They asked, because I gave a talk, a 20-minute talk, and for the most part, people loved it. But there were five people that went out of their way to be mean, to bully me, to try to get me to do it their way. I could not. And I was not upset about it. I encouraged them to start their own Bible study and do it whatever way they could, but I was contractually obligated, if that's the word, to do it a certain way. Well, as a result, they went ahead and asked the pastor of the church to silence me and to have another priest, a person, a deacon or someone do the talk because I was a woman. And for a little bit, they got that. But then the pastor got kind of fed up with it and decided that I could do just as good a job. And then they said they wanted me to run everything by Deacon Al Castellana. All my notes, what I'm going to say, everything. And week after week, Deacon Al Castellana would check my notes and what I was going to say, my template, so to speak. And sometimes he would tweak some things, other times he was like, this is great. But week after week, these people kept kind of like poking me in the eye. But at the time, I didn't have the tools that I have today. And I wanted everybody to like me. Why didn't they like me? But it wasn't like they didn't like me. They were very sweet to me, but it was behind my back that they would do these things. So I remember one time, it was just way too much. And I was with Deacon Al, and I was just crying to him and saying, I don't understand, Deacon Al. I can't. And I'm like wiping my tears. And Deacon Al knew me very well. I loved that man. I still do, although he's gone. He's been gone. He was my father's age. And Deacon Al, I said to Deacon Al, I just don't know if I have the strength. And Deacon Al said, well, Lily, when are you wanting to quit? And those words were the exact words that I needed to hear. I heard, when am I going to quit? As I'm wiping my tears, going, I'm not going to quit. I was asked to do this, and I'm going to do this unless God wants me to step down. I will be more than happy to do this. And then he said to me, when he realized that I figured out what I wanted, and what I wanted was for 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 this whole thing, for these people to go away. But these people weren't going to go away, even though I encouraged them beautifully and nicely. Start your own Bible study. Do it the way you want. I just can't change it. I just can't. I'd love to. I may agree with some of the things that you would like, but I can't. It's the way that it's done. And as I'm clearing my eyes, I said, never. I'm not going to quit. If people want me to step down, I will be more than happy to step down, but I'm not going to quit. And these were the words that just pierced my heart, that I will take with me anytime that I'm weary, that I want to give up, that I think this is the last time I'm going to do this. Fine, I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm not going to forgive this person anymore. Blah, blah, blah. Then he said, then be who you say you are. Wow. Be who I say I am. What I say I am is that I'm never going to give up. Why am I acting like I'm going to give up any minute? Why am I acting so weak? I need to be bold. That's exactly what he wanted to hear from me. And he goes, then keep doing what you're doing. Don't let those people. And here's the thing. And one thing that I realized that was great is that 150 people were there. 145 people loved the class. They loved the Bible study. But I focused on those 5 people. I tried to get the approval of those 5 people. And it was exhausting to me. I did not know how much exhaustion it takes when you can't accept what is. I tried to change it, but it kept happening. So then I accepted and embraced it. That if they were going to, and they continued the Bible study, by the way, they continued it. But they continued it the way it was written. And never again did I allow them. I put on the armor of Ephesians 6, the breastplate, the sword, the belt, the helmet. And that's who I am. And Deacon Al Castellana didn't just say that to me. He said it to a lot of discouraged people. He said it to a lot of people that just didn't know what they wanted. So if you're finding yourself in a place where you're just sitting there going, everybody's life is better, that's a lie. Maybe it's true, but it's not. It's only true in your head. Everybody has their own stuff. Everybody has their own stuff. Be who you say you are. I love those words. Be who you say you are. Those 6 words impacted me to the point that here I am 15 years later. Not from starting the Bible study, but starting the class. Do you know how many people have made fun of me during this time? Do you know how many people are doing better than me at this for this time? It doesn't matter. I wasn't called to be them. I was called to be me. And you were called to be you. Be who you say you are. So redirect your thoughts, rewrite those thoughts. So if you are focused on how good their life is, then start a gratitude journal. Do something to start building yourself up so that you feel that you're working towards what you want. There are different ways that you can do this. Journaling is a big thing. And you know, this year I have started journaling every day. I give God my first fruits every day. And it's made a huge difference in my life. I knew that, but we get comfortable and we reach for our phones instead of reaching for the word. We reach for other people's advice instead of praying to God to give us wisdom. These are practical ways to stop the comparison because you weren't made to be them. You were made to be you. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful you. Do you believe it? If you do, then I want to hear amen. Amen. I receive it. I believe it. Put it in the comments section. Let me know that you've been listening up to this moment and you are ready to say, I was listening, Lily. Amen. I receive it. I want to do it. Declare it. Declare it in the comments below. There are practical ways to redirect your thoughts, reclaim your peace, reclaim your life, and most importantly, reclaim yourself. You can write your, like I said, start a journal. I want to quickly go over some of the things, some key points. So I'm going to be looking over so that I can make sure that I get them all. Anytime that you're doing something, notice your thought. Is this helping me or is it hurting me? By going on social media, is this helping me? Is this hurting me? By turning on the news first thing in the morning instead of turning on your Bible, turning it on by opening it and maybe studying scripture. I do BSF. I've been talking about BSF. If you want to learn more about BSF, I don't profit anything. I just go to it. I went to it 20 years ago and I'm back at it again. And the girl I was 20 years ago that used to wake up the day of Bible study fellowship that I was going to be sharing my questions, the answers to my questions, would wake up with print of her face of the Bible on her face because I waited till the last second is not the person who is taking the class, the course again. Back then was a 7-year course. Now it's like a 9-year, but you commit to one day at a time because I knew I couldn't commit to 7 years, but I committed to one day at a time. And guess what? 7 years later, I completed the course and now I'm back and there are 2 new courses and I'm going through one of them right now. So pause and notice is very important. The other day, my husband came to me, Robert, just in case you're new to it, my husband, Robert. He said to me, you know, because I asked him, how are you feeling about this and this? He goes, you know, I'm not in tune with my body as much as you are. And why not? Be in tune with your body. Be in tune with how does it feel? My doctor, when I get my blood drawn, he always comments because it's not the piercing of the skin, it's the piercing of the vein. I always know. I'll go, ah. And he goes, ah, that's the moment I pierced your vein. Every time, ah, that's the moment I pierced your vein. Not the skin, the vein. Most people don't know that the vein was pierced. I'm the opposite. I know when the vein, I get it. You got to go through the skin. But I also know when they missed my vein and they're trying to find it and try to roll around, I'm like, pull it out, pull it out. Do not try to find the vein. Don't do it that way. I'll end up with a bruise. I know my body. Know your limits, but be limitless. Don't let your limits limit you. And when I say limits, like if you want to be a brain surgeon, don't go do brain surgery without going to school. Simple. Okay. Name what you can't control. I could not control those people, those 5 people. And I learned at that moment that I need to let those people be those people and that I will never get approval for those people. But I can't neglect the 145 that were there to learn and grow with me and everybody else. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. By the way, it was very similar to BSF, what we were doing, but it was for the Catholic Church. At the time, that's where I was. And so I named it. At that moment, when Deacon Al said to me, when are you going to quit? I knew I wasn't going to quit. So I had to name it. I had to name what it was that I was willing to do. So shift from being overwhelmed, which was I was feeling, to action. Like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm not going to do that. That was my action. And then replace the story. I will focus on the 145. If the 5 that don't like what I'm doing need help, I'm going to love on them. I'm going to be there and be helpful to them. But in the meantime, they follow along with the course, just like everybody else. And if they want to start their own study, good for them. I mean, I invited them to do it. I wasn't offended by it at all. Not everybody wants to do a structured study. Some people just want to get together and read and talk about it, and that's okay too. I wasn't there. After 7 years of going through BSF and starting CSS in the Catholic Church for that church, I was like, it was all good. It's very comfortable to me. I know the pattern. I know the protocols. I know the way that the whole flow was, and it was very comfortable to me because it's what I knew and what I picked for the study and what was approved by the pastor. They were excited. And to those 5 people, those 5 people. So it took me to rewrite the story. I'm going to focus on the other people. I'm going to keep doing that. And my immediate action was to realize that I was enough and that I needed to continue doing what I needed to do. And it was my mindset change. It was rewriting the story of me not being accepted, me being the victim, me being tortured, me being, no, that was all in my head. Same problem, different perspective, different solution. Why? Because when you go towards godly people to get godly advice, to turn to the Bible, that will pierce your heart and redirect you in the right path. Never again did those people bother me. Never again. Thank God this happened at the beginning. This happened at the beginning. You would have thought that I was teaching people to love Satan. That's how they treated me. I'm not exaggerating when I tell you this. I wish I were. I wish I was just like being like, ooh, very dramatic. I wasn't. Even Deacon Al thought the same thing as I did. But he knew that I needed to stop my misery. I needed to accept it for what it was and be who you say you are. Just woke me up. Reconnect with who you are. And that's the final one. Be who you say you are. You can do this. You can do anything within the parameters that you choose. So if it requires, when we did our vision last week, if it requires you to get further education, go to an internship, become a big sister, a big brother, adopt, whatever it is, become an expert. You don't need to become an expert, but at least reach out to others who have done it, who God sent first, to help you get to that place. The woman with the glasses, I said to her, reach out to me. I'll help you. I'll show you how you can do this. I'll be more than happy to do it. Why? Because I wish somebody did that for me, but I wish somebody would help me along the way. I will help others. I treat others the way I want to be treated. Well, maybe, but I treat others the way they want to be treated. She needed help. I need your help. So let's help each other grow. That's why we're here in the classroom, to help each other grow. Your mind can be redirected. Your life can be reclaimed. And your one choice, and one step at a time. That's it. When I climbed the mountain in California, I didn't just get helicoptered down. I started by buying hiking boots. Simple. That is more simple than me thinking of myself in the top of the mountain. What is your mountaintop? What is your unique path? What is your ability? What is your joy? What is your confidence? Do it. Are you going to quit? No? Did I hear no? Then be who you say you are. And please remember, I'll be right here waiting for you worldwide at whenyouneedafriend.com. This is Lily McDermott wishing you love, peace, joy, and unexpected abundance. Make it the best day ever.
The opinions and advice expressed on the Lillian McDermott radio show are intended for the individual callers and guests on the program and are presented to our wider audience solely for general educational purposes. Please act responsibly and consult personally with your own medical, psychological, or nutritional expert before taking any steps to improve your life.